Today is the day, folks. You can go out and buy yourself a brand new, shiny iPhone 16e, but don't fall for the iPhone 16e. The iPhone 16e is a stopgap measure. It's a ridiculous money grab by Apple, and I'll tell you a few reasons why. Number one, it's replacing the iPhone SE 2, which was, smaller. It was less expensive. This is a $600 phone, which doesn't necessarily scream to me budget. Apple never really said it was a budget phone, but it's $600. It has one camera. It has an OLED screen, which is nice, I guess, but it's only 60 hertz refresh rate. If that matters to you, it doesn't matter to me as much, but some people, it really bothers them. It just really is not that spectacular a phone for $600. And there are other phones that you should be considering picking up instead. And I'm going to tell you what those other phones are. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at what the iPhone 16e is. Okay, so here we are. iPhone 16e comes in two colors. We've got black, we've got white, 128, 256, and 512 gigabytes. It's the size of a Pro or a regular iPhone, not the Pro Max. 6.1 inch screen, Super Retina XDR display, 460 ppi OLED display, HDR display, True Tone, wide color gamut. I mean, these are all the specs that Apple's devices always have. No Pro Motion, that's what they call high refresh rate. 800 nits max brightness, which is okay, and 1200 nits peak brightness. Let's see, IP68 water resistance, 6 meters up to 30 minutes, A18 chip. Now, this will be the thing that people will point to, like, oh, it's got the better chip, the most recent. Well, it's not the most recent chip. It's not the A18 Pro chip, but it's got a better chip. Whether it's the A18 or the A16 or the A17 or whatever it is, on day-to-day usage, you will never notice the difference. I can tell you that from personal experience, having gone from one phone to the next phone to the next phone to the next phone. There's no difference in everyday use between any of the recent models of the iPhone and the most recent model of the iPhone. I could happily still be using the iPhone 12 Pro Max that I had up until a year or so ago, and be happy about that. Moving over here, camera, 2-in-1 camera system, 1.6 f-stop 1.6, video recording 4K 1080p 720, slow-mo up to 120 frames or 240 frames, HEVC or for H.264, wind noise reduction, true depth camera, 12 megapixel. So this is your 2-in-1 camera. It's a 48 megapixel and 26 megapixel camera here. And then as we move down, most of this stuff is pretty much the same as every iPhone of recent vintage. Face ID, Apple Pay, Apple Card. Apple Card is not a feature, by the way. Apple Card is like, them giving you a credit card and then charging you 27% interest. It does have the emergency SOS via satellite, crash detection, roadside assistance via satellite, messages via satellite. These are all newer features that not all the older iPhones are going to have. Video calling, audio playback, video playback, Siri. And it's got Apple Intelligence, which, if you've watched my recent videos about Apple Intelligence is not a selling feature. It is a bug, not a feature. Apple Intelligence makes zero difference to your daily life and is just flat out useless. So don't buy into the Apple Intelligence hype. If it's ever going to be good, it's not good now. So don't get a phone because you want Apple Intelligence. But you can, in fact, get a phone that will support Apple Intelligence for the same, if not less, money than the iPhone 16e. I have to admit, I don't know why the iPhone 16e exists. Going through here to the buy link, you can get it from Apple, black or white, 128 gigabytes. You can trade stuff in. It's got connect to a carrier later, Apple Care Plus. So all of this is, not that big a deal. Let's go to the store and take a quick look at certified refurbished iPhones. Now, they don't have a ton on here because they don't want to have a ton on here because they want you to buy the new phones. But you can get an iPhone 13 refurbished. It's pink, blue, 256 black. That's still less than the iPhone 16e. You can get an iPhone 13 Pro 512. Okay, so now we're getting up into the higher echelons with the Pro Maxes. But Apple has a few things on here that you could still get. But what about something more recent? How about the iPhone 15? Brand new, $699. So that's $100 more. It has more color options, has the same storage options, same everything that you might want to get here. You can get Apple Care Plus with it. It's got all the same stuff. But if you don't want to pay over $600 for a phone, let's say maybe you even want to pay less than $600 for a phone. So let's say you're sitting there. We'll pick the iPhone 15. We'll pick it in black. We'll pick 128. We'll select a smartphone. Let's say that you have an iPhone 12 Pro, right? And you're going to trade that in. It's in good condition. You can get trade-in value. You can either finance or buy. $479 after trade-in. You get $220 for your iPhone 12. As you can imagine, you can do a little bit better depending on the phone we have, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Apple does offer trade-ins. The trade-ins cut down on the price. And the iPhone 15 is last year's phone. iPhone 14 Pro, a 2022 phone, but really it was introduced in October of 2022. So let's call the iPhone 14 the 2023 phone, and the iPhone 15 the 2024 phone, and the iPhone 16 is the 2025 phone. And you can get in a Pro model 128 all the way up to 1 terabyte of storage. Same screen size, OLED display, same screen resolution, but with the ProMotion display and all of the other goodness that the let's see, what's the 1000 nits max brightness, 1600 nits peak brightness. So it's outdoors 2000 nits peak brightness. So it's going to be a brighter screen for you if you went with the Pro model here. And you're thinking like, okay, Jason, that sounds great. But Apple's not selling the 14 Pro anymore from their website. Well, you can get a 14 Pro from a lot of places, including refurbished here on T-Mobile. You can get a 14 Pro unlocked from Amazon. I'll talk about that a little bit here in a second. 14 Pro, $256 for less, refurbished. Let's look at the 14 Pro 128 gigabyte Apple iPhone 14 Pro. Over here on Amazon, refurbished, you can get the 15 for $568.95. And you can get it either unlocked or for all of these different carriers. So that's good. And this is Renewed Premium. I have used Amazon Renewed quite a bit. I found Amazon Renewed to be one of the better options for buying used phones. I mean, if you go on eBay or you go on Swappa or someplace like that, which are both places that you should look. I sell a lot of stuff on Swappa when I have phones that I'm ready to get rid of, and Swappa is a better place to sell phones and other electronics like that than eBay. But even on eBay, you can get really good deals. But a Renewed phone from Amazon, you get the full guarantee, 30 days money back, et cetera, et cetera. I think they actually extend that on the Renewed store. Let's take a quick look. And here it gives you options. 14 Pro 128, Renewed Premium 642. 14, 447, 15, 508. So you can get a lot of these things for a really good money. And Amazon Renewed, this is not an Amazon Renewed ad, but it does offer you a lot of options, and you have a little bit of peace of mind when you're buying from Amazon Renewed. So the iPhone 16e, Apple will tell you, is a great phone. It is a good phone, but it is not a great phone. It does not compete with the phones that Apple has put out this year. It does not compete with the iPhone SE that it had out before because of the price. It doesn't compete with the 15, the 14 Pro, or any other of the more recent models that you can get used. If you get a Pro model used or refurbished, you'll be able to have a much better phone, better resolution, better peak brightness, just about everything. And the key element here, and the thing that everybody keeps trying to sell you, but nobody's really willing to tell the truth, is that it doesn't matter what chip is in there. If it's the A16, A15, A18, it doesn't matter. iOS is screaming fast on just about every phone of the last 4 to 5 years. So don't fool yourself into spending more money for less phone. And that's what the iPhone 16e is. It's more money for less phone. Not as much camera, not as much screen. It's just not as good a phone. So don't get it. Please, before you press buy on the iPhone 16e, press search and check out the 15, the 14 Pro. The 13 has the really cool green color that I like a lot. So you can do that too. But don't buy the iPhone 16e. Don't support Apple's kind of predatory product cycle that they get into. Speak with your wallet and buy something that is a better option for less money and is really just as good.